Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Harry Sky Radio Blog. I'm Harry Sky, just adjusting the dilator. So, part one, we talked about being yourself. Now, part two is going to be a little bit different. Okay, part two is going to be talking about, why the transgender community is being threatened to be erased. All right, now I see posts online, people are bitching about Canada. Well, let me just give you a rundown of what happened. Okay, the rundown is simple. The American people are tired of going into hospitals and clinics and hearing people say, oh, well, we can't cover that procedure, but don't worry, we're covering sex changes. Happened to my grandmother, my adopted grandmother, 94. So the problem is they want to eliminate it. Now, with the military saying, oh, you can be transgender in the military, my opinion is that basically that goes ahead and distracts people. It's like basically being a police officer. Now, if you're a police officer, drives a car, arrests people, and all of a sudden you want to have sex change, you might be better off sitting behind a desk at the police station transitioning than basically going out on the force. I mean, it is a distraction. I mean, look, the transgender community already gets a lot of beatings against people when it comes to being arrested or etc. I mean, you guys heard my story already. Basically, been read my rights, released, and told there's no holding cell, and because the holding cell was already filled by some schizophrenic, and then they released me, and they're like, oh, there'll be a citation. Then I find out my civil rights were violated. We have protection laws in the state. So then you got the red states. Okay, the red states want to dissolve it because they're tired of seeing some guy walking. Oh, I'm transgender. 12 months later, look, I got big old double D knockers or quadruple Ds or hooters like this going, I'm a real woman, yeah. And, the thing is the Republicans are tired of sitting there saying, oh, well, we can't do this, we can't do that, but we got to give a pair of tits to a man, or we got to remove tits from a trans man, and then they're pissed. They're basically no, or we're going to get rid of the vagina of a woman and give them a penis because they classify themselves as a man. The entire world is watching, and now they're like, well, we're going to go the same suit as Donald Trump, so they're trying to basically cut out programs that protect these people because these people, the transgender community, is pushing a wheelbarrow. Every time you turn around, well, if I don't go to White Court because you're discriminating because I'm a woman now, I'm going to sue you. And then the Supreme Court goes, oh, he can deny you services. Clunk. And then they're like, oh, whoa. I mean, it's like the freaking person that's disabled, suing a funeral home. If you did your job, yeah, I don't know the whole story behind it, but if you did your job, you're fine. If you didn't do your job, you got canned, that's different. If you came out because you're from a redneck state, then as Jeff Foxworthy would say, well, then you're in the wrong state, because you might be a redneck if you live in a red state, and point is, you got all these states. I mean, look, you got Washington, California, Oregon, Nevada. These big states are Democratic, and because of it, a lot of people are pissed off, and they're changing the House to Democrats or the states, to Democrat, flipping things. Problem is, it's not going to do you any good because eventually the Republicans will basically get what they want by submitting or basically erasing us. I mean, literally, that's what's happening. And the Republicans are doing it because they want to make a point that we shouldn't be paying for this. Look at the Medicaid expansions. A lot of the expansions are covering it. Oh, well, I saw a woman the other day. I was browsing someone's Facebook wall, and everyone posted, well, if you need this, you need that, you need this. This person just moved to Oregon. They want to have their sex change in Oregon free, paid at the taxpayer's expense. Please put her up on someone's couches. Now, I know Tara and Corey's going to watch this later. They're going to be fucking furious. You don't fucking move to Oregon just to go have a sex change. It's like going to Washington because we cover transgendered healthcare. It's medically nurse charge, so everyone's flocking here. I mean, literally, the states that are doing it are different. I mean, it's like I saw my sister Danielle last night. She said, well, she could drive over to her local hospital. They're now covering sex changes for free. But in other parts of the country, they're taking away sex changes for her. She's in Canada. So, it's a complicated issue. And if you keep pushing your wheelbarrow saying it's medically necessary and all this, I mean, another reason the Republicans are doing what they're doing is honestly, they don't want their tax dollars funding facial surgery. All these people that, well, let's put it to say in an example. Let's just say Lindsey Graham or Donald Trump or Mitch McConnell decides this time, the Republicans, that they want a sex change. They're going to say it's medically necessary for them to have a female face, which means destroying their male face, grinding it down, doing whatever, making it a female. Thing is they don't want to see it for the taxpayers because, in their opinion, they'd probably agree, including President Trump would agree, that, if Donald came out today and says, I'm having a sex change, I'm going to go the way of Caitlyn Jenner would laugh, but also in the same fact that Caitlyn Jenner would say, Donald Trump needs a lot of work to be done on the face. Now, maybe Caitlyn supports transgender rights getting facial feminization, but the Republicans are saying the people that need it more, the heart patients and the lung patients and all these other people, the cancer patients, they're being cut out. Look at Medicaid. They're cutting dental, for what I understand, and other programs that was essential 10 years ago to cover sex changes. In my opinion, yes, my insurance paid for it, but I had to advocate. Now, a lot of people come to me every fucking day. You're a facial fund, you need to tell me how you do it right now or else you're a fucking bigot. No, I don't have to tell you because, frankly, key is advocation. If I had to advocate when Aaron was alive, and I had to advocate when Aaron was dead, my sweetheart, then you can get off your ass and advocate too. Look, everywhere I go, okay? Everywhere I go, all right? Let me give you an example. The other day, the manager sent us a notice that our rent was due late because we didn't pay it all in full because they were saying, that I told the manager, if I put $200 towards it, she says you'd get the notice. If I put $300, she says you'd get the notice. If my rent was $600, for example, and I paid $5.95, I'd get the notice. I'm still $5 short. So she'd be like, you have to pay, or you get 3 days to boot for $5. So the manager basically knows that, I didn't even ask her. All I knew was I had to look for resources, and a couple places told me where to go to help out because dental isn't covered. Chloe basically says, we should be covering dental for people that are having dental problems. It said they end up with endocarditis, from heart disease because their tooth's infected. Next thing you know, they're dead in the ground because of it. And yet the government won't pay for dental. Look at it this way. For example, the services out there for the community, they need to be a broad spectrum. The Medicare for all. Everything's covered, no ifs, ands, or buts. Said you got a diversity. If you have Medicare, you don't get Medicaid. Look at it this way. I've talked to people out there that were saying that a lot of people on disability, the government, it's either SSI or SSDI, and a lot of the people that are transgendered are getting Social Security disability because the 90% of them, 95% of them are getting Medicare. And they're not getting Medicaid because the states don't want to cover it, so they don't have to pay for the surgery. So they're making new rules, regulations, and backdooring it. So it's like, oh, yeah, Medicare, you can go through doctors that take Medicare for your sex change, but we're not going to give it to you in Washington or Oregon. And Oregon's been very diverse for us. Washington, the healthcare authority is notorious for not giving you a list of doctors. I've had to literally dig up on my own and advocate for Chloe and others, and it's not easy. I think it was the only one helping me on hair removal was Jenna, my moderator, because she's from Seattle region, so she knows exactly how hard it is. You have to literally look, and for what I understand, Washington's last time I heard it's not paying a lot, so it's like one doctor and all of the in the network will cover. I believe it's Idaho. I believe the doctor that I went through is not taking Medicaid anymore in this state because they're not paying him enough to do the surgeries. So, but the bottom line is if you look at the big picture here, the thing is, it's not a good thing. Okay. So the main thing is why the Republicans are fucking furious about the transgender community is because they're angry. They're angry at the fact that the people out there keep pushing their wheelbarrows, pushing it to no end, saying, "Oh, it's medically necessary for you to make me a woman." It's not medically necessary. Yes, it's a real thing. Some say it's a mental illness. Now the government wants to say it's a mental illness to the point where they don't want you to basically use the bathroom of your choice from you have to choose your birth bathroom. And that's going to be a controversy coming up soon. I mean, we have the House, we don't have the Senate, so nothing's going to get done. But if the president pushes this law with the DOJ, he's going to cause a lot of trouble. But you know what? I just say as advice to all the trans sisters out there, trans brothers, before you sit there and bitch about it, take your advice from a woman who's been sitting on the sidelines for 20 years watching everything and making things happen by advocating for you all, which I have. I've advocated for a lot of people, and that is simple. Sit back, eat a Twinkie, relax, and watch the fireworks until something happens. Quit your bitching. If you sit there, well, they're taking one. Well, no, they're not. If they do, then you have a fucking right to gripe. If you sit there, you're living in fear, okay? That's what it is. The worst enemy is fear itself. You don't see me fearing, no, because I'm sitting here with a conscious mind thinking logically, not like the trans community who's thinking pretzel logic, as my hubby would say. My husband would say, and my father-in-law would say, sit back, have yourself a cigar or a pipe, pack it up nicely, smoke it, relax, don't let anything get to you, and the trans community will be fine. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, look, the Supreme Court overturned this. Now, that Donald Trump might have Kavanaugh, he could overturn and say, oh, well, it's not necessary for them in the military, draw them out, and let's not give them benefits. I mean, literally. I mean, look at my friend Patty. She posts crap about the demo shits. Well, you know what? Patty wants to keep her Social Security. Please wait while we reconnect. Oh, we should be fine. So, yeah. So, anyways, some jack. I really don't want to deal on like idea. So, relax, watch the fireworks. What? What is it you need, sweetie? Come on, tell me. I heard you say something. Hold on a second. I gotta find out what. I'm coming there. What is it, honey pie? What's wrong? Is it your game? Okay. Do you want me to reset the router? Okay. Sorry about that. So she was just trying to tell me the game is acting up. So because it's almost to the 15-minute mark, you guys got my advice. Basically, just be yourself. Don't push your wheelbarrow. And hope like hell, we ask, hit that like and subscribe button. Show some funding for the family. Thanks for watching Buttercups.